Rhonda wrote to me recently. She's a health professional with decades of caring experience, and she's now the primary carer for her mum, who is approaching 90. Like many families, Rhonda's mum wants to stay at home for as long as possible. And like many, what we've seen unfold in nursing homes around the country has left Rhonda and her mum feeling anxious about the prospect of nursing home care. Let me give you a sense of what Rhonda shared with me. Mum is on a full pension and has a debilitating back injury from years of being a nurse. 2 years ago, Mum broke her leg, which has further impacted her mobility. For several years, Mum has been receiving a community home support package, which has helped with cleaning and showering. In light of Mum's increasing care needs and the subsequent financial demands, we organised an ACAT assessment. The assessment was conducted in April 2020, and Mum was assessed as needing a Level 2 home care package. In November 2020, Mum was advised that as funds were not available for Level 2, she would commence on a Level 1 package, and we had 3 months to select a provider to manage the package. Mum elected to remain with her existing provider, who had been very helpful. But their advice to Rhonda was to reject the Level 1 package because Rhonda's mum would be at a financial disadvantage. She'd be out of pocket almost $3,000 a month. As Rhonda said, we waited 8 to 10 months in anticipation of financial support, only to find out that Mum could not actually afford to take up the package. Knowing that her mum's needs are increasing, Rhonda has been looking at the higher Level 3 and 4 packages. She's been alarmed to hear that many people waiting for those higher care packages often die before packages are made available to them. And again, we weep for those families, Mr Deputy Speaker, as this government watches on. Rhonda says, I do not understand who actually benefits from these home care packages if those on pensions can't afford them or die waiting. And we're talking about a woman who has served our community as a nurse, helping those in need throughout her whole life. It's a total disgrace. And sadly, Rhonda and her mum are not alone in Eden Monaro. The latest waiting figures for home care packages revealed just how broken our country's aged care system is under the Morrison government. The waiting lists for home care packages across the country show that 100,000 older Australians are in desperate need of care. In my electorate, more than 1,100 people are waiting, up from 600 people in the previous reporting period, nearly 50% increase. And these figures are heartbreaking and reveal the pain and trauma many local families are feeling as they look to provide care and dignity to our loved ones. The government says it's injected more money into the system. Well, people in Tumut, Queanbeyan, Cooma, Jindabyne, Bega and Narooma are yet to see or feel any improvement. More will be announced in the budget, the Prime Minister says. Well, Mr Deputy Speaker, families don't have the luxury of time, and every moment counts in the days that we share with our elders. At Braidwood, poor Norman, aged 90, has had to argue the point with the aged care minister to get a provider to visit his regional community, which is about an hour down the road from here. At one point, Norman went 11 weeks without his regular home care visit because the provider said it couldn't service Braidwood. As Norman told me, I'm 90 years of age and had a stroke 12 months ago. This leaves me in a difficult position, not to mention the rest of the folk who were getting the service. Thankfully, Norman's service has been rebooted, but only after he jumped up and down about the system. Australia's aged care system is broken when people like Norman and Rhonda can't get the assistance they need and deserve. The system has been broken long before the COVID-19 pandemic, and the pandemic only served to put extra stress on this system, resulting in the death of hundreds of people.